Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Crazy Karts, which is Mario Kart in a box without the license. So Crazy Karts is basically a racing game where you team up with somebody, which is super cool. I love playing with spouses. I like playing this, mix the spouses up, that kind of thing. One player is playing half of the kart, the other player is playing the other half. So you can't talk about what you're going to do, so sometimes you kind of go this way. And it kind of screws you up, and you bounce off, and you can't shoot, you can't move the way you wanted to move, and you do all these crazy, silly things. Super fun. It's a programming game, though, and like most programming games, the fun is in screwing up. If you're completely in sync, and everything makes sense, and you game this game, it's not going to be as much fun. Half the fun is game. I almost want to put like a gamer and a non-gamer on a team. There is a variant to play if you have an odd number of players where somebody has a big bad wolf on their team and he kind of messes you up a little bit. But this isn't a game to be taken very seriously. This is a fun, little game where you're shooting people. It's Mario Kart. That's all it is. And it's fun how the teams are split up and you're pre-programming it and you're running into walls and each other and you're like, I tried to do what I want to do and I couldn't do it! What are you thinking? That's the fun. That's the fun. And it is a really, really cool game. The races are short enough. You can make them longer if you want to. There's a thing where you go through the preliminary and then you get a power. I don't like that because it just makes the winner more powerful. I like just playing it one race through and maybe making it a little bit longer than normal. It can have a runaway leader and then you're playing for second. That's okay. It's not that type of game where you're going to worry about it too much. And like I said, the more you screw up, the more fun you're really going to have. So it's almost like if you're losing, you're having more fun, which is weird in a game, but I think that applies here. And I just think that each of the teams plays a little bit differently, can have a different special power. This is a really fun one, and I'm always looking for racing games, because I can never find one that I like. So this is actually a racing game that's going to make my list. Definitely check this one out if you don't mind a little zaniness in your races. So, Crazy Karts. I like it. I recommend it. And I'm going to keep it! Here are the components for Crazy Karts, which is a Mario Kart type game. You can see the fantasy theme, but you got some mummies on there, so it's not your traditional just elves and dwarves, but I think traditionally they don't like each other, so that makes sense. You're going to get a very colorful rule book, which I found very easy to read. Here's everything you need to know in the game on these 2 pages, to be honest. There's a few other little rules in it, but very colorful, lots of pictures, got some humor going on in it. So, very good rule book. Let's take a look and see what we have in here. Let's dump all this stuff out. I want to pull the box out for a reason, because the box is just very beautiful. It's very striking. This could go in a Target, be very striking for children. And I love this. This is just so funny. And, they spent a little extra money on it to have this done, I'm sure. And it just looks great. And I wanted to point it out. It kind of just shows me the love and humor and care that went into the game. Maybe I'm being a little nerdy about it, but it is what it is. So, you're going to get, let me kind of show you what you get here. You're going to get a number of these little screens that will hide what you're doing. I always find these things kind of flimsy. But it has nice artwork on it, and if you want to cheat, you probably can because these screens aren't that big, but they're included, and the idea is that you won't. And then it has a little thematic thing inside. It doesn't really give you any points about the game, but each one's a little bit different that you can see. So they took the time for that, and your beard is your best shield. That's appreciated to me. What you're going to have here, each team is going to get one of these. These are going to track how much lightning you have before you get your power-ups. And they're double-sided, depending on how easy you want to make that. This game is very variable, so there's a lot of different stuff going on. I'm going to show you a few of these because each kind of cart is a little bit different. You can even see like the power-ups are themed. This is the mummy ones. They're all themed a little bit differently and have different artwork on them. I'm going to try to show you a couple here, but they all kind of work the same way. But you can see the different artwork. So even this is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. They put different like colors on it to match whatever theme that you're playing, which I thought was a nice touch. You're going to have, this is your speed and how many cards you can draw. But once again, pointing out that depending on what character you are, it still looks different. The cards are different. They took the time to put the different card backs you have on each one of these. A lot of care done with this. So this is, if you're playing with an odd number, somebody will be the big bad wolf. And so this is his, and he has all of them together. So it's a little bit bigger than the other ones. And that allows you to play with an odd number that you can't just play with an even number, because this is a team-based game, as you'll see. You get a number of these tracks that you'll be using. They're double-sided and a little bit different. I do wish there were more of these in the game. They took a lot of care to everything. I'm sure that'll be out in expansion. This is a starter one. Depending on if you're playing 2 players or any number of players, 2, 3, or 4. I wish there was more. And I'm sure that will come out. If this game sells well, there'll be more. But I feel like that's the one thing I needed was more of those. There are also some extra powers you can get as a preliminary race. You can just hand these out. Really funny. Sponsored by Walmart, the Wrath Brothers. So they're all just kind of comical. Brass Orchestra of Mount Doom, Gremlins Victims Foundation, and Rusty Golem Foundry. So a lot of humor in this game. A lot of hidden little humor that you'll see. These tiles are very thick, very nice. I love the art in this game. The art in this game is just out of this world. Here are the components that you'll use with the single player. So if you have an odd number of people, these are cardboard. These tell you what they block. So I'll show you how that works when I show how to play. So these are just really nice little cardboard. And then these are the cards that the wolf will use. These are the player cards that they'll use. So these are like wounds that you'll get. And you'll see on the other side it'll be like, we hit wrong target though. Remove 1 obstacle if in range. Explosion. Target loses all that power. So these are very randomized, these wounds. But that's the kind of game that you're playing here. Lots and lots of bits. So let's move all this to a side and pour this out. So these are the encounters that you will have, or obstacles that you'll see on the board, and they'll be placed there. Rocks. Take damage equal to your speed, then reduce speed to 0 if you hit the rocks. So these repeat a lot. Here's a pond. Reduce speed and lightning to 0. Discard 1. Power up if you hit the pond. You don't want to go in the water, people. Ice rink. Toss the tile. Turn left or right according to the result. So a little bit of randomization. You'll be able to hopefully try to avoid these when you're racing, but you may not be able to. You have champagne for the winner. If you win, you get that. Okay. And these are the power-ups that you'll get and earn during the game. This round, add 5 steering to one of your actions that cost a steering. Let's flip these over so we can have some of these. Lightning rocket. Leading cart gets 3 damage. Costs 1 steering. Each opponent discards 1 card from the board. So these are just ways to screw people over. It's thematically of, when you throw the shells in Mario Kart, that's what these are. So very nice cardboard. And then, last but not least, you will have the cards that each person will be playing. They have a number of steering wheel on them, or power, if you will. And you'll be playing these. The backs are different depending on what character you are, but they all work pretty much the same. This is your damage that you will take. Very cool looking wooden component. Very nice. And then you will sticker this yourself, which I hate, but these are what you'll be moving across the board. Okay. And then this is the lightning that you'll track. Very cool, very Euphoria looking, but very neat. And that's the components. Everything is very top notch. The artwork is fantastic. The only thing I wish we had more track. Otherwise, fantastic job. pretty simple. You do need to make sure both players understand all the rules of the game before you play, because that's going to dictate how they work together. I mean, I think this game would be super hilarious to not teach anybody the rules and you just go. Like, it would just be running around circles. It would be so much fun. But you do need to make sure they download the rules before you play, because you're going to be pre-programming things and you're going to get the inevitable, well, you didn't tell me that, so be it. Now you're running around in circles and you're backwards and you're going the wrong way and you shot the air for no reason. Deal with it! But it's an easy game. The rules are simple. I like it. It's got the watch and play. You can go watch the rules of it. The rule set is very good. Very well done game. This game should sell a lot. So this is what the board looks like set up. The track would be longer than this, but I'm just setting it up for my table. This is a 2-player. You would start here, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 across the bottom. We have some things that you want to avoid here, which would be traps, and then you have some power-ups that are there. And all you're doing is moving your guys and I'll show you how that moves, and trying to get to the end of the race. If you hit these, bad things happen. If you hit these, you will power up. Each team or each cart is a team of 2 people. So one person will get a stack of cards. Let me see if I can show you. And they're a little bit different. So each team has a different one, which will have different values and do different things. So you will be playing simultaneously. Now, you're not allowed to talk about what you're doing. Okay? So let me kind of show you what we're doing here. So you have 2 of these tracks. Each of your teammates will have, you'll have one and your teammate will have one. Let me kind of throw these down here so you can see them. So what will be happening is, without speaking, you will draw a number of cards, and the number of cards you will draw will be based on your speed. So if you're able to get your speed up to 7, you're not drawing any cards, but if you're drawing down here for speed of 0, you're drawing 6 cards. And as you get wounds, your wounds will move down, and your top speed will reduce unless you repair. You will also be moving up this track with your lightning bolts, and as you move up to 10, you get a power-up. But for the most part, you're going to be drawing a number of cards, and you'll be placing them down on what you want to do, and there'll be a screen so nobody can see what you're doing. And you can place them face up because the other players can't see, because you have a screen based on how many cards you have. And then what we'll do is everybody will act simultaneously, number 1, and you'll find out who put the most steering wheels on initiative. We put 1 steering wheel. I don't know if you can see that on that card. Each card has a number of steering wheels. Really, the only thing that matters is this. So why it wasn't bigger, I don't know. But you can count the bugs, which is how many steering wheels are at the bottom. So whoever has the highest initiative goes first and will then move first. And then so let me kind of show you what these boards do. So first one's initiative, then you will call out whoever has the highest initiative will go next, will be 2. And if you had a card here, and this one says you pay, everybody has a unique one, pay 3 steering wheel to use the lasso, which is their unique power. Everybody has something a little different. So the dwarves have pay 3 and take 1 damage to use the ram. So everybody has a unique power that they can use. Then you would call out 3. If you have here, power up, you get to move up on the power up track, however many steering wheels you have. 4 would be your bonus. This is an advanced rule. You pop this out and you could put your power in there. And so you could utilize that. 5, you would brake. So you brake before you speed up, before you move. So if you put any cards here, you would slow down. That will help you direct. Remember, you're braking and your opponent is speeding up before you move. So you don't ever have an opportunity to talk. So there's just some common sense, and hopefully you guys are thinking about the same thing, and wacky things will happen. Then you will move. Then you turn. Then you can shoot. However, your distance, your range is how many steering wheels that you use. Then you will charge up, move up on the track. Sorry, I said you moved up early. That's when you use your power up. You move up on the track here. And then 10, you can repair any damage to yourself. So the game itself is not knowing what your opponent is going to do.
This game, and they kind of say that once somebody's made up their mind, you time the other people. I highly recommend that. This game is much better if it's on a timer. I would even set my clock and say, we got 1 minute. Everybody's got 1 minute, because making the mistakes is what it's about. If you math it out, crazy things are going to happen, and you're going to kind of miss the point of the game. The game isn't to race and get there in one move without hitting an obstacle. The game is, oh man, I wanted to go left and I'm going right. That's the game. So you're going to be moving your guy around, you're going to be hitting these obstacles, doing what they say, taking damage, hopefully winning the race and getting through there. Let me kind of show you how the Big Bad Wolf works. Now, so if you have an odd number, somebody will play the wolf character, and he's going to have his own cards that he will draw. So he has his own deck. All right? But what you're going to do a little bit differently is you're going to draw 2 tiles for him. Okay? So you'll draw 2 tiles. One will block. This is random, so you'll block. So you cannot power up this turn. You cannot choose that action. And then you would choose another one of these, which gives you a break, or a speed up rather, and it gives you 1 steering wheel for that. So you would draw those randomly, and if you go here, you already have 1 steering wheel there. So that's kind of how that works. This one gives you a chute, you know. And those are random, so that's how they kind of randomize it. With you draw one of these, a block, and then you grab one of these with a steering wheel that tells you where it goes, and it makes you speed up fast. And that helps randomize the wolf a little bit. Otherwise, they can pretty much plan out what they want to do. Probably a slight advantage of wolf. If you get this game, you probably want to play teams as much as possible. But I got stuck with the wolf one time. I had a pretty good time, and I was still doing crazy things. But I think it might be a little easier to control. But if you put that timer on it, they're at another disadvantage. They're trying to do 10 things and think about it, as opposed to each player is trying to think of my 5 things and what my opponent is, or my partner is trying to do. So the game can get pretty crazy. You can end up going backwards and just running into people. And there's some rules for that. But for the most part, you're going to be playing cards down without talking to your opponent, which will then activate in order, hopefully make you do some funny, crazy things that make you laugh. That's Crazy Karts.
This game, pre-programming fans, people who like Mario Kart, racing fans, people who like zaniness, people who want to play team things, like where you get with your spouse and you guys are doing 2 sets of it. Love this game with 4 couples. You get 4 couples together, split up the husband and wives, and you got fun. You do 1, 2, 3 races, and you guys will have a blast. You don't want people to be good at this game. The fun in this game is being bad, and you really have to be able to roll with the punches, roll with okay things being screwed up and zany and funny, and I got shot and I was winning and now I'm in last. Like, just roll with it and you will have a good time. People, please check this game out. Please, 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 please play this game. It is super fun. It fits such a niche in my collection with the 4 couple thing. I can invite 4 couples over, split them up. We're on the same team as your spouse, but oh my gosh, will you stop playing that card like that? Do you not understand the rules? And it's so much fun. Love it. Crazy Karts. Play this, buy this, try this, whatever you need to do. But it's a keeper, and it's staying in my collection.